everyone, what's up? How are ya? Hope you're fine. My name is Anya, and let's get right back to the game because we have a lot of reading to do. So, the life and times of a Saxton building. All the buildings of Saxton have undergone many changes over the passing centuries, none more so than the humble harbour cottage, perched on the edge of the inner harbour wall. Oh, there was a period there. I overlooked that. Perched on the edge of the inner harbour wall, the cottage was once the winching store, which housed a complex series of gears, pulleys, and ropes. Fishing boats would sail into the archway of the rear. Fishing boats would sail into the archway to the rear of the building and unload their briny catch. In later years, the archway was walled up, with a small building converted to a dwelling for visiting fisherfolk and those seeking shelter from the harsh North Sea. By now, the building had 2 floors, one for storing boats and equipment and an upper level for accommodation. A treacherous open trapdoor joined the two. The building's later history is more mysterious. It came under the ownership of Eduardo de Molina, a well-heeled merchant from southern Spain. His business in the town and his need to buy property was never clear, for Eduardo committed suicide in the 1950s. His story and the further history of the cottage are explored below. Yeah, never mind. A death at Harbour Cottage. Arriving in Saxton just after the war, Eduardo de Molina made a definite and lasting impression on the small town. Over the years, the Anglian coast has seen much in the way of trade, tourism, and visitors. But Molina's sharp suits and flamboyant air were very exotic to the simple people of the area. Sadly, Eduardo committed suicide only a few years after his arrival. By this time, he had acquired properties such as the Watch House, Harbour Cottage, and Dickens House. In fact, his body was found at Harbour Cottage, oh great, dangling between the trapdoor and the lower levels. It is not known why Eduardo had chosen to hang himself in such a fashion, but local gossip hinted that he had experienced a great disappointment a few days before his death. It is believed that he had been searching for something connected with his family or business. Wait, when did he come to Harbour Cottage? Crap. Because I'm just thinking 1950s, alright. So he was the one who wrote the diary, I'm guessing. And it was Christina's death that made him commit suicide.
Don't forget to explore the mystery surrounding the Saxton skeleton.
Okay. Shattered glasses. Emily's eyeglasses were found washed up on the Saxton shore 2 days after her disappearance. Wait, who was Emily? Was she the girl who wanted the flower? No sight nor sound has ever been reported of Emily, although her father searched the county for many years. What did happen to Emily? Was she abducted? Did she wander into the Saxton Caverns and lose her way? Did she fall from the cliff top by the old boat store? Emily's departure may always be a mystery. Nope, we can't look closer. Okay. Wait. The Saxton Caverns. This natural warren of caves and tunnels has existed since prehistoric times and has attracted geologists, archaeologists, and paranormal enthusiasts. Some say it is near impossible to measure the exact length of the caves as they appear to change with each visit. A polite warning to the curious. The local police encourage visitors to visit the first few meters of the caves, but not to venture any further. It is all too easy to become disorientated in the dark, damp, and deep caverns. Enjoy the caves, but do not put your life or loved ones at risk. Well, yeah, been there, done that. Emily Travers. The 1940s saw tragedy in the Saxton Caverns. Emily Travers, daughter of the local doctor, is thought to have perished in or near the caves after being overcome by the strong Anglian tides. Although her body has never been discovered, her spectacles were discovered washed up on the beach some days after her disappearance. Emily was a regular sight to all the local people, who described the young lady as warm, generous, and loved by all. So I'm guessing, yeah, she's the one who wanted the flower and that dude, or was that an older story? And am I confusing or mixing two things up now? Wait a second, I didn't get that low part there, did I?
You can marvel at our fine collection of butterflies.
Yeah, well, never mind. Let's finish the Emily part and then we'll go back up there. Some believe it is Emily's voice which has been heard calling from the Saxton Caverns, nicknamed the Siren's Cave, or singing on the spring breeze. Local fisher folk refuse to leave the harbor if the sound of Emily's voice is heard. They believe she is attempting to warn them of impending doom on the North Sea. Fisherfolk the world over are highly superstitious people. Even today, Emily's presence is felt around the town. A keen botanist, Emily was often to be found exploring the woodlands and cliff tops around the town, looking for rare plants and flowers. There you go. Some say it was her inquisitive nature which led to her untimely death. On further note, Emily's beloved squire, a terrier, is often seen around the town. The lovable animal was said to search the town for his kindly owner. He died exactly 1 year after Emily's death. Oh god, that's gonna get me all teary and sad again. Right, and now the lower part of
Take
that
the
one.
weight off your feet and watch our film about the town.
Customs and superstition. The fisherfolk, townspeople, and visitors have reported hearing a woman's voice emanating from the cave entrance on dark afternoons. Some say it sounds like a sad song, whereas others hear wailing or cries for help. See below for a possible explanation. Well, okay, we just had that. So he's not gonna say anything about that? No? We can't read that.
What haunting eyes. They follow you around.
Oh, those kind of pictures creep me, or paintings rather, creep me the fuck out. Though with those, let me see, does it work? In front of a monitor as well? Can't say. But they're really creepy. What's this here? Can't we look at it? No. Oh, I can't look at that boat. Okay. Oh no, please don't let that be the library. And
There has been a settlement in this harbour since Neolithic times.
what? I didn't understand that. Oh god. Okay, then where do we start? The Mountain Bride of Badmintor and Other Ghost Stories, revised from a collection of stories first published in Dark Falls 2, Lights Out. Okay. Born unto farming folk in the rich and fertile fields of Burnwell, Nancy was a happy girl without a trouble in this fair world. until love stepped forth to claim her heart in the form of local man Frank Lanyon. Sadly, the lover's parents failed to share the joy of their partnership. Following secret trysts and romances, Nancy found herself burdened with child. Oh boy. Fearing a terrible scandal, the young lovers were wrenched from each other's embrace and told never to meet again. Lanyon was sent to sea to serve his time on the stormy waves of the blustery channel. Nancy pined for her love, but the soft night breezes of the midsummer eve carried no news of her lover. Oh, funny, while I'm reading, so it's midsummer already, at least here, now, today, 21st of June. So Nancy chose to cast a spell, summoning the powers of the land to bring Frank to her side. Hemp seed I sow thee. Oh. Hemp seed I grow thee. And hemp seed, well, I won't smoke because smoking seeds is disgusting, but I'm sorry. Hemp seed I sow thee, hemp seed grow thee, and he who will my true love be, come after me, thee, on this midsummer eve. 3 times the spell was cast, and 3 times Nancy prayed to see her love. Upon speaking the words a 3rd time, Lanyon did appear in front of Nancy. His apparition was twisted with rage and barely recognizable. This caused the frightened girl to break the spell. She was not to know that at that very instant Frank's vessel was being churned and tossed by a storm out by the Burnwell cliff, his boat a mere mile from port, where he planned to reunite with his love. Both body and boat were thrown and smashed against the rocks. Oh, never mind. I just forgot the word I wanted to say, but I had thought something like that was gonna happen, that he dies. Most of the crew died instantly, but Frank was washed ashore alright, his body now a mangled mess, writhed in agony as Frank began to gasp his last dying breath. Well, never mind. Frank's family witnessed the shipwreck, so rushed to the aid of the poor sailors, not knowing that they were about to witness the pitiful demise of their own poor son. Okay, sorry. Though in great pain and nearing death, Frank made his last dying wish. Bring me my Nancy, bring her face to mine, and let us be married. Frank's parents would not hear of such things. Why do people do that kind of shit? God damn it, if 2 people love each other, let them have each other, you know? Sorry. Frank survived for a further hour, his weakening grasp upon life finally extinguished as midnight fell across the bay. His last whispered words being a wish to see his beloved Nancy. Nancy was never told of her lover's fate and still believed him to be making his fortune at sea in preparation for departure to some far-off land where they could raise their child in a loving home. 1 year later, it was the midsummer eve when a rider approached Nancy along the back lanes of Burnwell. The horseman did speak to Nancy and said, "Ride with me, my dearest Nancy. Ride with we the way, for my love is yours. 'Tis fine and fancy, ride with me this day." Nancy looked upon the shrouded man, quivering at the sight of her Frank's loving face, gazing down upon her with compassion in his eyes. His hand reached down to aid her mount, but she did not notice the icy grip. With a snort and a furrow, the horse rode away down the lane. Their destination was to be the village church, where they were to be married at midnight, the start of Midsummer's Day. At the ford, the 2 riders stopped to allow the horse a brief refreshment in the clear water. As the horse bent its neck to drink, Nancy caught the reflection of her lover in the darkened water below. To her horror, she found herself staring at a most frightful spectre, its face twisted with rage and torment, and the bones of the face were broken and bloody, with the body a twisted corpse. Nancy's frightened shriek was loud enough to pierce the cold night air, and was heard by local people who had once left their warm homes to seek the origin of the terrified sound. village blacksmith dashed to Nancy's aid with a red-hot poker. Nancy screamed again, but the spectre grasped firmly into the lace of her dress. His eyes burned a fiery red. The blacksmith acted quickly and scolded the phantom's bony fingers. A ghastly howl filled the air from the depth of the fiend's twisted throat. The sound deafened all those that stood there watching. The phantom's horse bolted and ran from the scene, blinded by panic. Eventually, Nancy was thrown from the horse further down the lane. She hit the ground with such a force that her neck was instantly broken. Of the phantom, neither sight nor sound was heard or seen. Little did the villagers know that Frank had returned to his secret grave beneath the churchyard's great yew tree. His parents had buried his broken corpse many moons before, in secret and away from prying eyes. They would never forgive their selfish act that could bring such sadness to the lives of their son. They returned to the grave each midsummer night to plant hemp around the secret grave. Nancy's orphan child would never know the true story behind the death of both his mother and a father he would never meet. Oh God, I hate these kind of sad stories. They always make me cry. And it's as if I'm not crying enough in these recordings. Okay, that's the same story again. Who Were the Anglo-Saxons by Louis Savage for Roger. 3rd edition with illustrations, published 1986. Okay. The Dark Ages, as the name itself implies, have always been regarded as a dreadful historical abyss between the Roman and Norman civilizations. The native Britons, it was thought, were mere savages who, without outside assistance, were incapable of much except paganism and butchery. Yet nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, this was an era in which British civilization was being born. You may already know a few details, whether historical or textual, from this era. The writing and teaching of J.R.R. Tolkien featured stories and ideas regarding the Anglo-Saxons and the ancient folk of Anglia. The horse-whispering folk of Rohan are a good portrait of Anglo-Saxon life. Both fantasy and fact are divided over how the Anglo-Saxons integrated themselves with the resident Britons after the departure of the Romans in the 5th century BP. What's BP? Except for the British petrol, which I don't think is meant here. Oh, well, never mind. Some believe it was by bloody dominant force, while others feel it must have been a mutual and logical step towards unification and sharing the minds. You could say that the Anglo-Saxons introduced Britain to wider trading, clear ideas of leadership, and large-scale farming, the birth of a new world. Like all birth, it was a painful process and involved some spilling of blood, but it was without question an act of creation rather than a mere stagnation of what had gone before. Although much of the period was taken up by the squabbles of petty leaders jockeying for position, there emerged some much more powerful figures. Arthur, for example, who Alfred the Great was certainly a much less shadowy figure. Wait, is there something missing in between? Are there pages ripped out? Because it doesn't seem to make sense. Arthur, for example, Alfred the Great was certainly a much less shadowy figure whose achievements in both the spheres of government and warfare were considerable. Then there was the dramatic influence which the dreaded Northmen, literally men from the north, exerted on the growing nation. Their terrible raids eventually led to a degree of settlement and a mixing of the two races, which did much to shape the national character. The Vikings. These ship-based raiders from Scandinavia terrorized the coasts of Britain from the 8th century to the 11th century, disrupting the Anglo-Saxon people and stealing their goods, people, and treasures. Their voyages took them far and wide, from the sweltering heat of Africa to the icy mass we know as modern Canada, leaving a bloody but influential stamp wherever they trod. The Celtic nations of Scotland, Ireland, and Cornwall often sided with these mighty warriors to battle the Anglo-Saxons over land and law. Many of Britain's landscapes are thought to be haunted by these ancient people and echo with the battle cries and deathly moans of those who fell upon sword, shield, and spear. Temples, churches, and shrines. Much is left of this era, and the interested amateur historian has little difficulty in finding churches, tombs, monuments, weapons, and works of art which bear witness to the fact that their creators were not savages. The Anglo-Saxons were present in Britain for over 600 years before the Norman invasion of 1066, the Battle of Hastings. 6 centuries may seem a short period in our modern times, but keep in mind that the Romans occupied Britain for 400 years, 200 years less. Yet the Romans left many clues as to their way of life here in Britain, which, with impressive ruins such as Lullingstone in Kent, with its fabulous mural floors, and the well-preserved bathing house in Bath. From coins to glassware, weapons to statues, the Romans are well represented in history, yet the Anglo-Saxons fare less well. Wooden houses rot away, and a simple rural life leaves little clues. Who or what did the Anglo-Saxons worship? What relationship did they have with the ancient Anglian landscape? How far did they trade, and with whom? Modern archaeology is constantly finding clues to this mysterious period, presenting fascinating and appetizing facts. But no one can claim expertise of the period, leaving it open to interpretation and speculation. Oh, a chimera? Oh, that was it? I mean, I'm glad that was it, but I thought he was gonna say, Nigel was gonna say something to this goat dragon creature. Goat and a dragon. Did I? No. I've been diving deep into all these kind of historical things lately as well, so I was just wondering, because I came across something with a goat recently, or goats and dragons, and oh, never mind. It's I forgot again already, which is so sad because I used to be able to remember so much, as I said in the last episode already. Just a second. Sorry, some more burping. The Lost World of Doggerland by Edward Henry Benson, first print. The drowned world of Doggerland, where now the North Sea does eat away at England's coast, there was once a fair, fertile, and fantastic land. If you stand on the shores of modern-day Anglia and stare out to sea, it is hard to believe that the rolling, chilly waves now hide a land, once populated by thousands of primitive farming folk, hunters, and tribal gangs. Undulating hillsides of heather and gorse were broken by deep rivers and valleys, providing a unique landscape stretching across what is now the North Sea to Denmark, Norway, and Germany. To the south, Doggerland would have been defined by the almighty rivers of the modern-day Rhine in Germany and the Thames, which runs through London. This massive body of water wound its way down what is now the coast of Cornwall and Brittany to a great estuary near the legendary city of Lyonesse. Oh, very funny, there goes my timer again, and all I did was read 2 books. To the north and west, the hillier, wooded landscape of ancient Britain was a foreboding, dense, and terrifying place, revered by the Mesolithic people, Middle Stone Age. They would choose to venture into the dark forests when needed. They would choose to venture into the dark forests when need dictated, but chose to camp and settle in the flatter, more They would choose to venture into the dark forests when need dictated, but chose to camp and settle in the flatter, more accommodating world of Doggerland. This area was populated by the people of the Mesolithic, whose ways are strange to us. Little has been uncovered, discovered, or theorized about how these ancient people lived and thrived, although a few, I'm guessing, is an F missing? Although a few remarkable finds reveal that our ancient ancestors may have a few startling revelations to present. The mighty beasts who vanished under the rolling sea, Doggerland was not populated by man and woman alone. Huge, hairy mammoths wandered the ancient land, hunted by saber-toothed tigers and the legendary Cattersnatch. It is almost impossible to imagine that, before the Ice Age, Britain's eastern gentle landscape was joined to a massive landmass, 1.5 times the size of Britain itself. For the most part, the join would have been easy to identify. The massive white cliffs of Dover would have risen steeply from the tundra below, creating a majestic sight. Above the cliffs, the forests, made up of elm, lime, oak, yew, and black poplar, would have been teeming with diverse species, many of which have been lost to time and industrial progress. Treasures from the deep. Clues to the ancient past are washed up on the shores of Britain, Norway, and Denmark by extreme tides and heavy storms. The past is gradually making its presence known to those who know where to look. The fishing trawlers of the North Sea have netted massive mammoth bones, the skulls of oversized lions, and even tools, once carved by the primitive folk of the Mesolithic. Ornately crafted spearheads, arrows, and spears have been brought up from the silty mud of the seabed to reveal that the hunting methods of the ancient North and future Britons were not so different, with them sharing many techniques, traditions, and hunting methods. England and the oncoming storm. Thousands of miles of coastline are lost to the sea each week, the world over. Along the coastline of Anglia, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, and North Kent, the evidence can be terrifying to witness. Imagine a whole medieval village, complete with its own unique history, trade, and traditions, falling into the North Sea during a storm, or slowly slipping down the earthy cliffside to be gradually washed away by the lapping waves. Some blame global warming as a contributing factor, while others are convinced the overdredging of gravel, tiny pebbles harvested to be used on driveways or in concrete, is a possible cause for the rapid collapse of the coast's natural defenses. A more fertile imagination may even suggest that the loss of our ancient woodlands and abandonment of tradition and the move into industrialism may be partly responsible. New discoveries revealed by the sea, such as Norfolk's sea henge, an ancient circle of tree trunks surround an upturned oak tree, suggest pagan rites have been performed along the coast long before we could have imagined. Were these traditions performed as protection against the sea or to worship it? Like Doggerland before it, much of the landscape of Anglia will be lost to the sea as part of a natural cycle of creation. There you go. Existence and destruction. If the landscape of Anglia hides many of its mysteries, we may only have a few decades to find them before they are gone forever. I mean, it's not that we should respect our nature a whole lot more, but people should, keep in mind that the world is ever changing, with or without us. And it has been changing long before we were here, and it will still change long once we're gone. Oh, that was it, thank God. It's not that I mind the reading, I just get so annoyed when I keep stumbling over the words and messing up. So if there's cuts in the parts where I read, I'll have edited out some parts where I just kept messing up and started over. Okay, let me see how much. Okay, oh god, this is a lot. Whoa, no, wait. Crap, what? Achievement unlocked before Molly, okay. Because no, damn it, why do I keep going out? I just want to, oh. Those are the same symbols again, aren't they? Oh, now we can take a picture? No, because I just wanted to see how much more there is to read, because I don't want to make this episode another hour long. Well, okay, that's the last one. It's a lot, but I'll read it, and then I'll end the episode. Olden Families of Anglia by Hugh Levy, 3rd edition, 12 ink illustrations. Chapter 3, The Russets. Was that the guy in the graveyard? Was he called Russet? Or was his name just similar? Russet. Brown? What's brown? Oh, is it short for pronunciation? But it's a weird spelling. If that is so, maybe it means something else. Never mind. Russet, noun. A moderate to strong brown. A coarse reddish brown to brown homespun cloth. A winter apple. Oh, well, 1, 2, and 3. A winter apple with a rough brownish skin. Middle English from Old French rousse, from rouge, red, from Old Latin russus. The earliest mention of the russet family tree in Anglia is from the Domesday Book of 1086, covering Saxton. The entire states that the Russets owned and farmed the land between Carrion Wood and Saxton. The land was mostly silt. I don't know that word. So whenever I come across a word that I don't know, or where I'm not sure whether it's a typo, because there's the S, the apostrophe, and the S. There's a lot of wrong ones there, but never mind. Never mind. Yeah, the land was mostly silt until the Middle Ages, when much of the land was drained of the fen land water. Wait, what? Drained of the fen land water? Huh? And made suitable for the growing of crops, and much later the planting of orchards, for which the family would become famous. Hill House and Ulcombe became the family home after construction was completed in 1547. The house stands on the original site of the rusted home, of which no record survives. Many believe the crypt at Ulcombe Church joined the original house by a series of passageways and tunnels. Local legend tells of smuggling and piracy along that stretch of the coast, but nothing has been confirmed. It is known, however, that many members of the family died during both the Black Death and the Great Plague. In later years, the Russet family spread beyond the borders of Anglia, some emigrating to the shores of Canada, Australia, and America. Few family members remain in the county, although a small group are thought to live and work around the lost medieval village at Northfield. Chapter 4, the Aegers. Aeger pronunciation. Aeger. Noun. First, or definition 1, piece of land or field. 2, preacher or holy man. And third, collective name for members of the Crow family. Oh, really? Origin, thought to be Saxon in origin. Once a large, wealthy, and well-known family, the Aegers have since vanished from Anglia completely. Partial emigration during the Victorian era saw many leave these shores to benefit from rich opportunity in the colonies. Of those that remained, 4 brothers figure predominantly in the area of Saxton and Northfield, where they owned a house on Raven Lane. There seems to be some historical confusion as to which brothers lived at the house and their correct ages. A Thomas Aeger is listed on the rood screen at Northfield Church as being rector of that parish in 1799. This seems utterly impossible given that the very same Thomas Aeger appears in the family portrait of 1899. Either the brothers had a peculiar sense of humor, or Thomas Aeger lived to be 100 or more. Or maybe he was, I don't know, using witchcraft or possessed by a demon that made him live for a long time. Or there were more than one Thomas Aeger, you know, when sometimes in families they're named after the father or the grandfather and the uncle and the nephew, and there's like, maybe there were 5 Thomas Aegers in that family. But I guess that's what we're supposed to, or what we're gonna figure out on the later course of the game. Of the brothers, it is Frederick Aeger who is best known, due to his work modernizing the town of Saxton, which included the construction of the net store and rebuilding of the harbor wall. No mean feat in 1847. Nathaniel Aeger is known for very little, although his life and attitude would suggest he craved fame, fortune, and power. It is rumored that a great ornate stone tomb containing his remains lays hidden beneath the huge pipe organ at Ulcombe Church. The organ itself, a monstrous machine powered by steam, was designed and built by Nathaniel himself. It is also thought that construction of the organ drove the remaining family members into utter poverty. William Aeger, last of the Anglian family line, died alone, unloved, and poor at the family home in Northfield, babbling about a great secret that he must share. Of its validity and importance to Saxton, Aeger was most insistent. Sadly, William died during the night of a terrible fever before he was able to share his burden. Academics have theorized that William and his brothers were connected to the legend of the last Anglo-Saxon crown, but it has never been substantiated.
3 crowns. A link to the legend. 3 crowns. A link to the legend.
And he's gonna say it again.
3 crowns. 3 crowns.
Or
A
not.
link to the legend.
Remix.
3 crowns.
Okay.
3 crowns. A a link to
I'm
the
right
legend.
clicking and it's not stopping it. Chapter 5, the Gurneys. Gurney. Pronunciation Gurney. Noun. First definition, a town in France. Second one, between two valleys. Third one, the combining of two streams. Origin, Norman. Habitational name from any of various places in France named Gournay, notably Gournay-en-Bray. Jeez, I'm getting my pronunciations mixed up here. Gournay-en-Bray in Seine-Maritime. The Gurney family were once well known throughout Anglia. They arrived, as many did, after the Norman invasion of 1066. Taking land in Anglia, Cornwall, and Kent, the Gurney family soon became generous landowners and kind to those who tended their lands. The Gurney fields were abundant with crops, fruit, and livestock, meaning the family prospered throughout their existence. Many weddings and well-thought partnerships saw the family increase both wealth and good health until the outbreak of plague in the 15th century. The Gurneys of Anglia were struck at the meanest of blows when virtually all the family perished in just one fortnight. Gradually, by the late 17th century, the family had increased to a healthy state and would enjoy their previous prosperity for many decades to come. The most famous Gurney in Anglia would have to be Nicholas, born 1756, died 1799. A collector of art, Nicholas was well known throughout the fashionable gallery district of Malnovia, London, where he often threw great parties and concerts in aid of charity and artistic endeavor. Fancying himself as an adventurer, Gurney was an impassioned student of antiquities both at home and abroad. In his last years, Gurney embarked on his most audacious venture to locate and exhibit the last Anglo-Saxon crown of Anglia, a legendary relic thought to be hidden in the landscape of Saxton. Sadly, Gurney never found his treasure. His mutilated body was discovered near the family home at Northfield. His body rests in the church at Northfield under the rather grand effigy designed by Gurney himself. Of his great art collection, several pieces remain mysterious in origin, but take pride of place upon the walls of the greatest art galleries. Well, alright. Okay, so I think I have read everything now. By the way, let's just make sure, Yep. I'm a bit irritated by the same texts in multiple books, but then I guess they're making sure nobody misses anything, huh? And we had that, yeah, we had that one in the episode with the.
That's not right.
It's not.
That's not right.
It's not? No, wait, in the episode with the Celtic Corner there, I wanted to finish the sentence.
That's not right. That's not right.
Well, then what am I? Where's my here? No! Damn it.
That's not right.
It's not?
That's not right.
Okay, now I'm a bit confused. What am I supposed to do here then?
That's not right. That's not right.
Weird. Why is there this?
That's not right. That's not right.
Why not? I can't take a picture.
That's not right.
I can't take a note. Well, I had no clue what to do, so never mind. I hope I got everything here now. Wait. I doubled and triple checked, but who cares? Oh well. Now we're out again.
The museum will be closing in 10 minutes. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not even halfway through yet, are we? God damn it. Well, I'm gonna end this episode here because it's gotten way
Many
too
archaeologists believe there is treasure hidden out there in the fens.
too long. So, you guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Have a great day or a great night, and see you in the next episode. Bye!